Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the podcast. I'm Robbie Morrison, the CEO with Velosio, and I have Carolyn Norton on with me today. Carolyn, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, Robbie. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Who am I? A little bit about myself. My name is Carolyn Norton. Today, I run the cloud practice here at Velosio, and what that really means is Azure Modern Work and managed services, and everything that surrounds all that. I love tech. I'm very passionate about what I do. I enjoy what I do, if you can't tell by how excited I am to talk about it. And I get the lovely opportunity to work with colleagues, organizations, industries, you name it. I get exposed to a lot of different things that really allow me to flex and think differently, or use my skill sets, use my insights, or use our teams appropriately to lead to success. And I really like winning. So that's
Oh, that's great.
my
So
favorite thing.
is your hobby winning? I was going to ask you what some of your hobbies were, but I know you well enough to know some of it's technology, your
It
kids,
is.
and going to
It is.
Disney, but and winning, right?
I do like winning.
Yeah.
If my hobby is not specific to one thing, I like adventure. I really
Oh,
like learning new things. Like this past weekend, I picked up my archery. I don't know if it's a permit or something, but I've always wanted to do it. I'm gonna go give it a shot. Gonna buy my bow and start shooting things.
oh.
I like to travel and see the world. I like getting exposed to new stuff because I feel like you just never know until you're in front of it. And I'm always I'll try it once. If I don't like it, it's fine. But if I do like it, I'm probably gonna go all in.
Well, hopefully you like the archery before you go buy an expensive bow. So,
Well, I definitely liked it, so I'm gonna definitely buy a bow.
oh, cool. So how long have you been with Velosio?
Whew, I've been here for 15 years. I came in 2010. Right around that time, I think we were in a nice little recession.
Yeah.
But I was leaving another service organization and I wanted something new. Um, and yeah, I came in where things were really starting to pick up, and oh man, it's not stopped since, and it's been fun.
Well, I know when I came to Velosio, the predecessor that you were at, you were one of the first people I talked to once we had the acquisition worked down. I talked to you, and you were helping me figuring out how we were going to integrate all of our peoples and their technology. So it's been a nice journey with you. You've been here a little longer than I have.
I like to
So,
help. Again, I like to win. Let's figure it out so we can make it happen.
so you talked about being at another company before. What were you doing before Velosio, and how did that end up? How did you end up here?
So before Velosio, I worked at a couple of MSPs, so very similar, implementing products, technology, working with multiple regional locations to implement tech, and just getting my feet wet in tech. Before that, I did internal IT as well. So I used to work for um, a couple of marketing groups for some reason, where they were focused on brand building and we're just doing internal IT. So it just working my way up in tech, and showcasing the power of tech and delivering on all that. That's how it led me to Velosio, honestly, is I actually applied for an internal IT role. Um, and I guess I was really good client facing. So they moved
You
me
are.
off
I
of
agree with that.
that. Well, again, see, I'm not shy about trying new things and exploring new things. So I said, sure, why not? Never, wasn't expecting to go back into consulting. I thought, oh, let's go back to just doing direct. And it was a different world because this is dynamics versus just, putting together PCs and
Yeah.
servers and hardware and that antiquated stuff. It was more like, okay, we're going to implement ERP software. And I'm like, okay, this is new. No idea.
Mm.
Got asked to put together a phone system. Never did that. So again, I never shied away from saying no. I probably should, but I'm not scared. So whatever.
Well, I love that you're not scared to try new things. So you've been here a long time, longer than I have. You've seen a lot of different ebbs and turns in the business, a lot of different people in the business and leaders. If there was one person in this organization that you would want to swap roles with for a day, who would it be?
That's easy. You. I want to know what a CEO's world looks like. I want to know what the movers and shakers are doing. What do the C-suite people do? What keeps you up at night? What are you thinking? I know I have a sense of what your life looks like, but there's probably some nuggets in there that would make me think, oh, okay, these are the things that make our decisions, or how we move the company forward, or what's our 3 to 5 year plan, or what's our whatever. It just that insight alone would be amazing for me to just get some insight on. And then obviously, again, in a winning form, I can take that back to myself and I go, well, how can I incorporate that into what I do so that I'm thinking more along those lines? Because it helps draw that line to how I'm contributing to what the overall vision for the company is. And I think it'll help me be more succinct than I'm assuming I am, but I would like to think that I'm even more succinct to what you're dealing with, or what you're exposed to, or what you're thinking about, or what you're told. So yes, you.
Well, I don't know that we can truly swap jobs, because I don't know that I can do your job, but I could definitely let you shadow me sometime. You're one of my favorite people to talk to, so we could definitely make that work out. And you could.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
I got to say that no 2 days are quite the same. They all they hit you in different ways, but there's some commonality in what you need to worry about, so we could figure that out sometime.
Okay.
So
it's good to know. Can you also show me how you deal with the punches day to day too?
you duck. You kind of.
That sounds like a new hobby. I can start practicing.
Yeah, boxing next, right? M&A, because they got you in a chokehold sometimes. You got to be careful.
Okay.
So maybe on a little bit more light note. So if Velosio was a TV show, what genre would it be in, and what role would you play in that TV show?
I feel like it's a sports show of some sort. I can't pick one specifically, but you got your coaches out there coming up with the game plays. You have your field players trying to make those moves and make it happen. Obviously, Velosio team needs to win. And funnily enough, I feel like I would be a cheerleader.
Oh, cool. Well, hey, I think you're a great cheerleader. You're
coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to. Come on, guys, let's go. You got this.
I agree. You're good at motivating people, so you'd be good in that role.
Yeah, that's where I would put myself. Maybe eventually coach, but yeah, I see it as a sports show for sure. Not without drama though, because sports shows have drama too.
That's true. My wife's watched some of those Netflix documentaries on Netflix around
There's
sports.
A basketball one.
Yeah, there's basketball. There's the quarterback, the receivers. There's been a lot of them. I can agree. There's a lot of drama there, and I'd agree that a sports team's probably a good analogy for this business and for most businesses. You need to build a good team of good people, and then you need to trust them to go on the field and win the game for you while you give them good plays to run. So I'm all for that. I think that's a good TV show.
There you go.
So, kind of keeping it on the lighter side, what's some passions of yours that are totally unrelated to your job, and maybe how they help you do a better job here?
Well, you mentioned Disney, so that's a passion of mine. I enjoy that company very much. I always think about how they tug at me and all that, and how they run their business, but just trying to think about the client experience. What are they getting out of it? I always say clients are always wondering, what is Velosio going to give me, right? What are you doing for me lately? And when I think about Disney or other big companies, just understanding their success stories. It's interesting for me to find out, and it makes me excited. And that's why I get passionate about what I do every day. So just stuff like that. I know the nostalgia portion of that is fun. The adventure part is also important to me because it gives me a sense of finding new things, exploring who I am and how I can relate that to what I deliver at work. So all that stuff externally relates to how I approach things at Velosio.
Well, that's great. I like the Disney one. They create raving fans like you of their brand, and we need to create raving fans of Velosio by doing an amazing job for them. So,
Exactly. And let me tell you, I was not like the way I am now with them. So they did something and they got me.
I agree. I took my kids because I felt like I had to and didn't expect to enjoy the experience that I had with my kids at Disney as much. And I came away a fan. So I can understand that.
Yeah. And there's clever ways of how they do it. And, we just have to figure out how we apply that to what we do.
So what's something that you've learned here at Velosio that you didn't expect?
Well, being a tech girl, the business side, go to market, how to translate technology to real value. I wouldn't say I didn't expect it, but that really got honed in over time, and really understanding how leaders are approaching tech really has grown on me, and it makes it. I still get excited by the tech. Now I'm more excited about, how do I make sure they understand that this is not a lackluster investment, that there is some real value that's going to be driven in processes. And, it's not just give me. You're going to get something great out of this. I love that part, and I didn't expect to love it. I knew it was part of the job. But I've learned a lot, and I continue to learn a lot about how to make sure that that's communicated with clients. And I think that's the fun part of all of this, is just understanding how they think versus how I would think of it. And I feel like I remember this phrase from your predecessor who would say, "Members, speak French, not German." I kept, in my heart, because I realize I often speak German.
I remember getting that same statement. I have a tendency I can speak very much a German technology language instead of a French common language. Yes. So I remember that as well. It's a good one. So on that growth and that continuing to improve yourself, what's a book or podcast or video or something that you've seen, read, heard that changed how you think about work?
I love podcasts. I listen to a podcast every morning. I listen to Mentor, Mindshift, Better Ways to Manage, Business and Technology. There's a few that I listen to every morning, and I take some key, and I have notes. I keep notes, and sometimes I pin them on my wall, and I take that back and I look at, all right, how does that approach work for me and what we're trying to do? I try not to overdo it because there's so much that they jam into those podcasts, and every week there's a new concept. So you're not really absorbing it. So I try to theme it, and I go, all right, this theme I like. How does that translate to what we're doing? And then how do I implement that? So sometimes it's, how do I drive my team better? How do I make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing? How do I think about it from a client perspective? How do I best work with marketing and sales so that they can translate and or speak on my behalf of whatever it is that I'm, trying to incorporate to whatever business we're talking about. So I try to do it that way, and then, see if it works. And if it doesn't, then you go back to the drawing board and figure it out.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So do you have a favorite podcast?
Probably Mentor, Mindshift. That one, I'm constantly thinking about how I can be better.
Okay.
Yeah. How do I do things better? If I'm good, if I win, everyone wins.
Yeah. Well, I've listened to your podcast before. You've done here with the Women of Velosio and on the what's it called? What do y'all call it? The fireside chat or the campfire, Velosio campfire? I've enjoyed listening to you on your podcast too. So good job there.
Well, maybe one day maybe I should do that. I should.
Yeah. Well, so what's your go-to karaoke song? You have one? Do you do karaoke?
I do. I karaoke almost every weekend.
Okay, really?
Yeah, my family. Well, funnily enough, I was in a circle trip many moons ago and I sang the Copacabana. That's an inside joke. You can ask Dave Drew in that one. But I like to do 80s songs. So I like Living on a Prayer. I do a lot of Whitney Houston. My number one favorite is my favorite movie of all time is Grease. So I always do Summer Lovin'. I have my cousin who does Zuko's part. I do Sandy's part. I have a whole thing. He has a chair.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to have to hear you sing sometime. I didn't know this. That's awesome.
It's fun. It's fun.
Sounds like we got to have a work, I don't know, happy hour with your singing part of it.
I could totally do it.
Well, we're getting to the end of our time. So thinking about like the end of your day, what's something that your work day's not complete until you do?
I have one thing I always have on my list that I want to knock out for the day. So before I end my day, I try to get that off my list. Not always going to be successful, but that's the goal at the end of the day, is to get that one thing off my list. Otherwise, my list gets longer. I get a little anxious. Again, there's this, you could be doing this by now. So
yeah,
there's usually there's usually paper here that I write, and there are things that I write down. And then there's usually that one thing I want to knock out before the end of the day. And then aside from that, I like to check in with the team. So with my team, we have a group chat. Hey, before I sign off, anything I need to know, anything, just check in, and just make sure that everything's good. I'm not missing anything. Outside of that, that's my end of day.
Well, that's awesome. I've read the book Getting Things Done a long time ago and used the Getting Things Done method. And one of the things it says is to have that list and make sure you're checking the things off that are important and are, urgent. So that's it's very nice. Well, thank you, Carolyn. And that'll be the end of our time together today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.